Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Meets Screen. My name is Norma, your host of whatever, and we're back. Ultimatum, episode 6 through 8. I'm ready to jump right in. We left off at the girls and the guys' night separately, and we jump into all of them arriving home to each other. Poor Zaina. Don't even know what she's walking into, okay? I think everybody else walks in, and it's not like a huge, like everyone's just like, how'd it go? Really normal. Then we have Scotty and Zaina. She walks in. This man has got like this death glare on situation. And so she's like, oh, like everything good? And he's like, yeah, but then he's acting all, Scotty. And she's like, it doesn't seem like it, but let me know if you want to talk. Then he's just staring her down like this. Like, no, absolutely not. So he stares her down for way too long. And then he basically asks her, like, did you say that I said anything about JR? And don't give me no roundabout fucking explanation. He's going off. It's a yes or no question, like, do. And she's like, not directly. And he kind of rolls his eyes. So anyways, he's like coming at her, and she's like, we're gonna calm the fuck down. You're gonna take a few breaths, and then we can talk about it. And then he's like, no, like, I wasn't accusing you. Backtracking all the way. So yeah, that argument ends, and he's like, oh, like, okay, Zaina, like, being able to talk me down, yada yada, like, ew. What's crazy to me is, if you ask me, Zaina's response was really similar to what we've seen Arya do with him when he gets like that. The difference is Zaina's new. And he's on TV, right? So it's like, I gotta try to present something different. But he can't. Like, I don't want to hear it's the edit, it's the this, the that. That's what everyone says on these shows. It's not. Like I've said before, there's no way they get that much footage of you in a certain light. We have Nick and Mariah meeting up to talk about the girls and the guys' night. Nick has like a little mini crash out, being like, I just know they've like been intimate, like, he's falling for her. And I think what scared him more about that was like that she could be falling for him. So yeah, he has a little mini crash out. Mariah's just kind of sitting there like, and I just love how soft-spoken she is. Like, she's just adorable. I'm Team Mariah all the way around. And we get to JR and Sandy, and she's like, oh, how'd your night go? And yeah, he tells her Nick came and apologized to him, which he respects. Then he asks her, he says that Nick told him it wasn't one-sided, that she was texting him, I miss you. And she's like rolling her eyes, and she's like, I mean, yeah. Like, that was my partner, we're in this experience. I texted him, I missed him when I miss him. And here's the thing. Two things can be true at once. Nick's crash outs, fully unhealthy. He needs to address that in therapy. However, Sandy trying to make it no big deal that she was texting him that she misses him and she loves him. Obviously, he's going to be hitting you up. Like, that's like, you can't be texting him, I miss you, I love you, and then at the same time complaining about how you had to block him or how he keeps blowing you up. And like, if you know he's that type of person, you probably shouldn't be texting him you love him and you miss him, but then like doing the whole JR thing. Like, it's like I said in my last video, like, she should have just had one conversation with him of like, listen, I really want to put myself into this experiment. We are not going to talk until we meet back up. And then no I miss yous, I love yous, no talking to him when he does talk to her, like, none of that. And if blocking him has to happen, yeah, you block him. But it's not fair. I just can't get with her painting this narrative of him whole time you've been hitting him up too. Like, it doesn't justify his crash outs, but it does justify like the emotions behind that. Like, he's expressing his emotions in the wrong way, but the emotions he's having are based partly on what she's doing. We get to see Caleb meeting Arya's brother and her brother's wife. And they're, of course, talking beautiful words about each other to each other. It's almost like a little bit too much. And not in a not terribly, but it's just like the whole, like, just get, and I think Aria feels much more than Caleb does and is feeling a lot of emotions right now because she has like the exact opposite of Caleb and Scotty. And so it's like mind-blowing that someone like Caleb exists because she's been dealing with Scotty for so long, you know? And so it's worrisome. It is. But her brother goes on to say, or she goes on to say to her brother, like, Scotty has a lot of qualities that are similar to their dad's. And she's like, I didn't get to choose dad, so I don't want to choose a partner like him, which is like, yeah, bars. And then the brother is kind of like, he does have qualities that remind me of dad. And the brother in his confessional is saying like he didn't like Scotty at first. I don't know if he likes him now or if he's tolerating him because like, hey, my sister's dating him, what can I do? I'm not sure there. It sounds to me like she's right on track and she needs to run in the other direction, okay? But her brother and her sister-in-law are falling in love with Caleb, of course. He's a sweetie pie. He's just doing his thing. And Caleb needed to be careful with that. Obviously, I don't think he'll go through something like this again, but I think once they had that one conversation where Aria wanted to tell Mariah, like, they had such a deep emotional connection, and he was like, whoa, 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 no. I think maybe he should have had a little bit of introspection of like, oh, like, she's feeling this in a way that I am not, or like in a way that it's headed in a direction that I don't want it to. Let me reel it back in. But I also kind of think he did that because he mentions like the deep friendship a lot. Enough for Aria to be able to realize that he will not take this further than a friendship, or he does not look at it as further than a friendship. And I know people are like, he liked her, or he was connected. Yes, there was an emotional connection. I am not denying that. I don't think it was a romantic emotional connection. I still very much think Caleb wanted to be like the good guy or like a good person to give her this experience to show her what she deserves or what she can have that's different from what she has with her partner. And it's clear that they talked really deeply about things. So I'm sure he heard a lot about Scotty that we did not see that made him feel like I need to like, you know? So yeah, I'm kind of like 50-50 on like, he did kind of reiterate the friendship thing, but also I think even with that, he should have like doubled down in reeling it back in so that she's not so like, you know? But that would be hard because she'd probably just feel like you're being mean, like if you just suddenly stopped. But yeah, that was an interesting meetup. Now we're at Scotty and Zayna for, I guess this is everyone's last night, I'm assuming, but Scotty talks all about his flaws and, you know, like, oh, sometimes when two people are arguing, they don't see that, like, they should be getting to a common ground. And Scotty, when you argue, you don't do that. When you argue with your partner, you don't do that. And I think Scotty lacks accountability and lacks, very, 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 very much lacks self-awareness, because him and Zayna's arguments were, like, really, really similar to the ones we saw with Aria. So it's like, at some point, look within yourself. Like this goes for everyone in any situation. If you find yourself in the same situations with different people, like same negative situations, there's got to be some introspection happening. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're the only one responsible or that everything is because of you, but we've got to be able to take accountability. We've got to be able to have self-awareness to say, it might not all be me, but I am playing a role in this, and I could change this dynamic or to change these outcomes. Like we gotta be more self-aware than we are, honey. What I'm trying to get at is Scotty is talking about flaws he's not gonna change because he doesn't think they're flaws. I don't know if he thought it would sound good on TV or if, you know, Zayna being older than him, he felt like I need to match her maturity level, and if she's saying that, then I'm gonna say that too. I don't know. There's something weird going on there. Scotty has, is it a complex? Is that a thing? Am I using that right? I don't know. Scotty has this thing where it's like, I am perfect and everyone needs to think that I am perfect. And because when they all get back together for dinner with the Lachey's, he mentions like, you know, you might be able to let something like that roll off your back. I can't, I absolutely can't. So it's clear that he really values what other people say about him. It doesn't matter if they're people that don't know him or are not in his life. It's like end of the world if you say anything negative about him, no matter who you are. we see Sandy and JR out on a little outdoor date, and they start arguing because I guess Sandy is either talking about Nick too much or is still dealing with the Nick thing more than JR would like. I don't know. Okay, here's my thing with Sandy and JR, because they are the only ones who have been doing this. The like zero acknowledgement for like Nick's feelings as her original partner is insanity. Baby girl, you have known this man for all of 2 to 3 weeks. You've known Nick for years, and it's insane for you to like essentially be choosing this new person in the sense that like you're like blocking and trash talking and not like responding to your ex-partner's like emotional vulnerabilities. Like, again, the crash outs are not okay. I'm not saying they're okay, but like it doesn't, we don't know for sure, of course, because we haven't seen everything that's happened on camera. But like I find it hard to believe that she had tried to have conversations with Nick of like, let me feel this experience. You came here because you wanted me to see if I could marry you. Let me explore that. And I think he may have understood. Like, he seems to do really well with just like calm conversations. But I don't think she gave him that. I think she was just like, you're annoying. Stop asking me questions. Stop hitting me up. But like, you didn't explain to him that you just want, I don't know, because we don't know for sure. But they're arguing because JR's like, I'm tired of hearing about Nick, yada yada. And she's kind of like, I mean, I'm processing a lot of emotions. And he's like, okay, but we don't need to talk about no more. Like, you see Aria give Nick a book that she wrote like a letter in or a note in. See if that book gets kept. Nick goes to get a tattoo, but gets the wrong tattoo. He gets Fortune Favors the Bold. He wanted to get Love Conquers All, but I guess he was between the two pictures and ended up giving the guy that picture. We later find out that JR has that tattoo, like right here on his 2 hands, like Fortune Favors the Bold. And so, of course, JR's like, I know he wants to be like me, yada, yada, yada. All right, and this is where Crash Out Scotty. We get Crash Out Scotty, okay? Zaina, he mentions like he didn't get to go to the gym, asks her if she did. She says, I did actually, and I saw Aria there, and we talked. I told her a little bit about our last argument and like the whole situation with JR. And you could see he was like, really? Scotty goes on to be like, oh, yeah, I see you get up and take your phone to the bathroom at 1:30 in the morning. Like, I see you text a lot. Like, obviously you're texting JR. And she's like, that is a wild conclusion to come to based off of me texting on my phone, which like accurate. I would take my phone with me at 1:30 to the bathroom if I was like gonna poop. I'm gonna sit on my phone. Like, what do you mean? Scotty just goes off. Do better argument behavior. Gaslighting doesn't work on me. Like, are you okay, Scotty? Are you okay? I know the answer's no. You don't even need to answer. The answer probably gonna be a lie. At one point, Zaina's like, do we need to get JR on the line? Like, what's up? Oh, that's petty. That's drama. I thought you were too mature for that. You're 32. Shut up, scaredy cat. Why you scared now? Now you scared. We see Aria and Caleb kind of talking their last night through, and Aria's talking to her confessional about wanting to keep Caleb in her life, but knowing that Mariah is not gonna be okay with that. And like, they made core memories. That's why it's bittersweet, and she'll carry those memories. You're doing too much. I'm sorry. Forgive me, guys. Forgive me. Aria is doing far too much. Like, of course Mariah's not going to want you talking to him. You keep talking about this emotional connection and you keep making it clear that you all about that boy right now. Like, y'all, Aria didn't like him at first. Oh, she like him now. Okay? Caleb being the sweetheart that he is, that baby's in love. Aria is in love. You can't tell me if Caleb was like, I'm kind of confused and conflicted with you too, that she would not strongly consider heading in another direction. I'm sorry, forgive me, but it's just facts. It's just all facts no prenup. But yeah, obviously Mariah's not gonna want him to talk to you. You guys made like this deep emotional connection. She's not gonna have him emotionally connected to another woman like throughout their life. Like, that's just a little bit crazy to me. Also, your man would probably go feral. Feral was the word. That man would go feral thinking about you still being cool with Caleb after how highly you've been speaking to that man to him. Shut that shit down. Shut that shit all the way down, girl. And of course, we got JR and Sandy still trying to convince us that they're deep, like that they went deep. I haven't seen the depthness, the deepness. Episode 7, we are at the changeover, I think is what the episode's called, like the changeover dinner to swap back to their original partners. And we have Scotty, mad about what JR was saying with the woo. And so, of course, Scotty's on his defensive shit because you're not going to embarrass me and make it seem like I care about somebody that I do care about, but no one needs to know. Or he's trying to convince himself that he doesn't care. But yeah, he was like, when like my character's so viciously attacked, or what did he say? So viscerally attacked. Scotty, he asked if you said something, you said no, move the fuck on. And again, self-awareness, accountability, self-love. This man needs all those things. He needs to not be with a woman and be in therapy, because a person you don't know saying something about you know is not true should not have you crashing out this hard. Should not have you starting arguments with partners, showing up to stare partners down. That shit was fucking weird. And again, that man is abusive. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise. I'm sorry. I think that we downplay abuse that is not physical, but like that emotionally, mentally, verbally, manipulative. At this dinner, Zaina finds out JR and Sandy kiss. JR tries to be like, oh, we had no rules. She's like, yeah, but we did say we would be responsible for the consequences to the actions we choose to make. And she ends up mentioning later, like, I think she thought he loved her enough not to take it there, or that he wouldn't want to take it there. Again, I still believe these two were like broken up when they went on the show, and they both just trying to get social media famous. But what do I know? JR tries to then like trash Nick, like I was talking to Sandy. I know you had an ex who ruined your experience, texting you incessantly, knocking on our door. And Nick's like, okay, yeah, it was just me. And Sandy's like, yeah, it was just you. He's like, okay, what about the I miss you text? Yes, I texted you I miss you, because her trying to downplay it is crazy. It's crazy to me, because it's like, I mean, of course he's going to like be emotional if you're telling him you love him, like kind of pulling him in, pushing him out, pulling him in, pushing him out. Like, the crash outs are not okay. The way he's expressing those emotions are not okay. But to say he shouldn't have the emotions at all, that was my issue up until now with JR and Sandy, is they were fully disregarding what they were putting this person through. And especially Sandy, where it's like, that's your partner of like 2+ years. Like, it's a little bit crazy that you're like this. Just saying. Sandy starts with, or Caleb comes to Nick's defense just because like JR keeps harping on him, and he's like, I just think that if he already apologized, like, move on. Like, why are you still trying to like talk down on him about that, or like put him down about it? And you know, JR's like, mind your business, shut up. Sandy's crocodile tears come in. She's talking about everybody thinking so highly of you and you've been tormenting me. Like, again, crash outs are not okay. I'm sure there's things he's been saying that are not okay, but again, like, we've got to be able to take ownership. We do. Like, he can be wrong and so can you. And you were messaging that man, making him think, like, just, that's confusing. That's confusing. Again, not okay the way he handled it, but acknowledge your part. I know we like to be talking shit about Vanessa Lachey, but she kind of dropped a little gemmy gem of being like, I just need everyone to remember this experience and remember that the purpose is to figure this out. And if it is that you don't belong together, that's okay. You're going to find someone you're great with who will make you shine brighter. And so your partner will find somebody who will make them shine brighter. And I love that, because sometimes, you know, we get stuck on like, who's wrong and who's right in this situation. Who's the partner who didn't deserve to be with the other partner? And it's true what she said, where it's like, oh, you're not compatible. You let go, you move on, and you find someone who is. And you both will find someone who is, and be happy, God willing. Everyone switches back. And the first thing we see is Sandy hugging and smiling at Nick. And I'm like, you were just crying about like not wanting to go back to him. You were just crying about how awful he was. Like, I'm sorry, guys. See, this is where I'm like, what? Like, so what was the purpose of all those words? And then you're like, oh, yeah, it's fine, hug me. Like, it's just, but if you ask me, it's weird. Arya talking to Scotty basically about all of Caleb's good qualities and how she needs that from Scotty, and you can just see Scotty wanting to crash the fuck out. But I think he knows he's like had one crash out too many at this point. Let's talk about Caleb and Mariah. This scene and like two more moving forward is kind of them arguing about his experience with Arya. And I think both parties could do something different to really like flip this on its head. I think that Mariah, because she does say like someone's lying, which I understand, right? Because like he's like, oh, it was just a friendship. That's it. We built a good friendship. Arya is like, there was an emotional connection. There was a deep connection there. Arya makes it clear that she did fall for Caleb in not so many words. Because, you know, Mariah asks at the dinner, I forgot to mention, like, so do you see yourself with him? Like, I'm just trying to understand, like, what's happening here. And to me, she makes it kind of clear that she does. And so I think for Mariah, it was like, okay, you're saying there's a friendship. She's saying it was more. So was it more for you? And you just don't want to say that to me? And then Caleb is frustrated of like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Can we move on? Can we have like some good moments on our own? Like, why can't we just focus on us and being happy and having a good time? And she's kind of like, it's our first night. He's like, yeah, we're talking about this. And so I think they both just have very different perspectives. Where I think all Mariah needs from Caleb is a little bit of reassurance. And I don't think he realizes that. It's clear Caleb wants to be with Mariah. I just think he's like blind to like what she needs. Like she mentions needing a hug, wanting a hug. You could have just given me a hug. And that should make it clear to him, like she literally just needs reassurance. She literally just needs you to be like, for me, it was a friendship. It seems like it was more for Arya. I will agree with you there. However, for me, I love you and I'm focused on you. Hug. That like that would have calmed her down. Y'all would have been having a great time in no time. But I think because she mentions him always feeling attacked, and he himself mentions always feeling attacked, and being someone who's been through that, you've got to be able to take that step back. And it's like, because I've been Mariah, where it's like, I'm just telling you my emotions. Like, this isn't an attack on you. This is telling you my feelings. Like, where, you know, and it's like, and all you had to do was reassure that those feelings are incorrect, or ask how you could reassure or how you could do that. Like, it just, instead of Caleb starts talking about a performance review at bi-weekly or monthly. Sir, not you HRing your relationship. We see Zaina and JR talking. Basically, Zaina is kind of feeling a way about the kiss, and she's kind of just like, yeah, I need to see how these feelings evolve and where we end up. We then get like Scotty, and a lot of Scotty and Ari scenes talking of Scotty being Scotty, Ari trying to get Scotty to see that he's being Scotty and him not wanting to. And like, this is where I say the manipulation also kicks in. We've seen the verbal, we've seen the emotional, but like I saw the manipulative behavior with him and Zaina, but especially with him and Arya, like here moving forward, where he says things in a way to it's like the manipulation where I'm going to try to scare you into doing what I want, right? Where it's like, you know, there's things, Zaina said all these things about me, and like, you don't give me that. And I want a wife that does that. I will not marry you if I think, you know, it's a manipulation of like, either you get with it or get lost, or like, there's a risk that I won't even want to marry you anymore. Because he did put the ultimatum up. So, of course, it would hurt any partner if like your partner is like, I want to marry you, and then suddenly they're doing things to make it clear that now they're questioning marrying you. That would hurt you, even if you feel like you are not ready for marriage, because that makes you feel like your partner's feelings are changing about you, or they're becoming less than. We see Nick and Sandy talking about how she ain't giving up the cookie. She's trying to figure herself out, she says. Nick wanting it. I don't know, dude. I'm wondering, like, did she do it with JR? And that's why she's not with Nick for a while? I don't know. It's weird. Zaina and JR are talking, and Zaina, a lot of their conversations is Zaina essentially being like, don't marry me just to shut me up. Like, she's kind of like, you got to be 110% about me. Like, you got to be sure that I am what you want in a marriage forever, you know? Which is appreciated. It's like, don't just ask me or make, because you like, I'm saying that's the next step and maybe you're not ready for it, but you know that you could be with it. Like, I want you to be completely sure from Jump Street. This episode ends with the couples all getting together and meeting. And then we get, of course, JR and Sandy speaking aside, just kind of talking about how she's feeling, whatever. And then JR's like, got a bone to pick with you. JR asks her about her conversation with Zaina, and how Zaina says that she said it was nothing more than a friendship. There was no connection, yada, yada. I never said there wasn't a connection. And then like, he's like, okay, yeah, it had me thinking, like, was it fake? Was she just faking? And she's just like, oh, JR. He's like, was it fake? please, JR, you know, JR. He's like, but was it fake? No, JR, no, hey, JR. Like, girl, just tell him the truth. Just put that man on his misery. Hopefully he caught on. Hopefully he caught on. But, and this again makes me believe that Nick was getting a different story, because the way that she's like finessing both of them, like with Nick, she's like, no, like it was a friendship, like yeah, there were kisses, but like I don't see. And then with JR, it's like, no, you're great, you're everything. Like, girl, stop playing with these people like that. Stop playing with these people like that. Then Zaina and Nick get to talking. Zaina reveals kiss number 2, and Nick is like, and that she initiated it. Girl, they go home and Nick is like, you're a liar. Like, I'm sorry. She's like, I was gonna tell you. It's like, when? He's like, in his confessional, is like, when the heck was she gonna tell me? Like, what? She's talking about after filming. He's like, after I've like proposed and you possibly said yet. Like, girl, what kind of plan? It was crazy. He did crash out once again. He's handling his emotions poorly. But I also don't think it helps when Sandy's sitting there like, I mean, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, it's the experience. Like, like, and she was doing that the whole time of like, I'm not doing, like, it's all you. And it's like, bro, accept your role. Like, that was fucked up. Episode 8, we have JR and Zaina on a date, and JR mentions how he feels like Zaina loves him more, and this jacks Zaina up. And I think this would jack any woman up. I'm not chasing no man, okay? You better love me more than I love you. Like, and so yeah, she's essentially like, see, that expresses a different issue than like, oh, we're just on different timelines. You don't want to be married and I do. Like, you saying I might love you more. She said, wait a minute. And he's like, no, I do love you, whatever. It ends a little weird, but I mean, I guess they cool. We got Scotty yelling at Arya some more. Basically being like, I don't care about your feelings. Be mad, be irritated. And like, ew. If this man proposes and Arya says yes, I know what I'm gonna do. I don't know, y'all, because why? Well, I would have left right there. I would have packed my shit up and been like, absolutely not. There's absolutely no fucking way I'm marrying you. Mind you, this has to be like at the most a week away from decision day, which is so scary to think about, that she might say yes. Like, absolutely, sorry, sir. No, we definitely can't get married now. I'm gonna need months to years of you and change behavior. In this episode, Mariah and Caleb have what seems to be the final conversation about this whole Ari situation, the whole experience situation, where Caleb is still just like, girl, let it go. You keep storming off from me after asking me questions, yada, yada. And she basically makes it clear, like, I'm telling you my feelings about this. I just want you to hug, like, I want you to acknowledge what this was like for me. That's it. I'm just trying to tell you my feelings about what this was like for me. It's not an attack on you. And she's like crying, and then he hugs her. And I think, if we can interpret that hug, I think he gets it. Like, I think he's starting to understand what she needs from him. And Sandy, like, what appears to be a here damn for Nick is she introduces him to his mom and his sister. They're kind of like, I don't know, like, whatever. Like, they're kind to him, and they're kind of like, wait, what? Like, when he's talking about his little crash outs, like, stuff like that. And so they seem like they'll support her whatever decision. We basically see everyone ending on like somewhat of good notes. Zaina and JR are like getting their nails done, I think, and talking, or maybe it was something else. No, I think they might have been home talking about the Eagles. I don't know. There's like, yeah, fake moments of like goodness and fun for everyone. Mariah and Caleb are like fishing, and I think here they kind of both talk about how they had really similar experiences there, like learned kind of that same thing of like needing more self-love, needing to be more secure in themselves. Like, they both struggle with that in their own way, and it seems like that's probably what's causing the main issue in the relationship. We have everyone on like good dates or whatever, but we also get a scene of Arya and Scotty talking. Essentially, Scotty is kind of like, she's getting ready to leave the room because I think they spend a week apart or a few days apart or something. I don't know. He's essentially like, I'm not going to ask you to marry me if you don't tell me that you're 100% sure about me and you want to marry me. And she's kind of like, I'm not 100% sure about you until I know your behaviors have permanently changed, or like I know you're going to keep working on those things. And they end with a hug and she leaves. It's just, God, I hope she doesn't say yes. All right, predictions. Let's get into it, okay? Sandy and Nick, I don't know. I'm 50-50, honestly. I can see them saying yes or no. So I don't have a definitive one of them. I'm 50-50, and I'm going to leave it at that. Zayna and JR, I get the impression it's not going to happen. Because I think she's made it clear enough to JR, like, if you do not have feelings for me, leave me alone. Arya and Scotty, I fear she's going to say yes. I hope she does not. I don't want her to. I don't. But I just fear she will say yes. Oh no, Arya, don't do it. Last but not least, Caleb and Mariah. They're going to get married. They're going to be fine. I think they've taken those first steps to realize what the root issue for them individually is. And so I think they'll be able to work through that still together. So they're definitely saying yes and they're going to be fine. I just know it. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Like the video if you did. Comment down below your predictions. Who's getting engaged? Who's leaving for another partner? Who's leaving alone? Let your girl know. Subscribe for more content like this and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.